In this video, I'll rank all 14 game modes on the Hive on this tier list, with the worst one being in D tier and the best ones in S tier. I'll rank the sweaty ones like Capture the Flag and the forgotten games like Ground Wars. Okay, let's start the ranking, with what could be described as Hive's worst game. Ground Wars. Already the game is bad. It sometimes takes 5 to 10 minutes to even enter a game, and when you do enter the game, it just feels empty, because Hive decided that 12 players was enough. Anyway, let's get into it. As we can see, the game is quite empty. My team only has 4 players. On the other hand, at least we get the typical extraordinary Hive maps. This one we are playing on is quite good, and I like it a lot, but not enough to want to play this game. Now, for the people who don't know what Ground Wars is, you basically throw eggs at your opponents, and if you kill them, your team gets an area of the ground, and when your team has all the ground, you win. Something else I have noticed is that when you throw the eggs, they feel laggy and sluggish. So on that basis, I will rank Ground Wars in D tier. Now, let's move on to a game I enjoy much more. Survival games. Survival games is a pretty self-explanatory game. You have to get loot and weapons and survive until deathmatch and eliminate other players and be the last person standing. Okay, let's load into a game. The game starts off with all the players at mid, and we all get loot from the end chests, and when grace period is over, you have to kill others. Now in this clip here, you can see that the PvP works well, and when you kill others, you get their loot. Another good thing about survival games is that instead of running around the whole map looking for people, you can use the activity tracker to find people. One last thing before deathmatch starts is that the supply drops are really good because it forces players to fight to get the best loot in the game. So with this knowledge, I will rank survival games in A tier. It has good PvP and great maps, but it can get repetitive after a while and sometimes the lobbies take forever to load. Another game that goes into A tier is Build Battle. How Build Battle works is you have to all vote for a theme at the start of the game. Then you get 5 minutes to make that build. Once time is up, players vote on what build is best. Recently, Hive introduced a new type of build battle, Speed Builders. This is an easy S tier, but normal Build Battle brings it down to an A tier. Overall, Build Battle is a great game, it's just the players that bring it down because you cannot go more than 2 games without either getting all meh or seeing an inappropriate build. So Build Battle can go in A tier. Now let's rank the Bridge. Bridge is a 1 versus 1 PvP game where you have to run on the bridge and jump in their goal to score. It has a nice variety of maps, but some maps like the cubic maps and the techno maps are a bit hard to defend. It can get repetitive after a while, but is still good to grind max level. They also have kits, but the Golden Apple kit is useless, and the snowballs and leap are overpowered, so I will rank it in B tier. Now let's rank Capture the Flag. Capture the Flag is another game I think deserves D tier. I mean, the game is okay, but it goes for too long, and I hate when there is a stalemate where either no one can get the flag, because it's a 1 versus 5, and when you do get their flag back, you cannot score, because they have your flag as well. But I'm not done. The people who decide to roll into a lobby with their 3 max level friends and proceed to roll everyone in 5 minutes need to stop, because they are ruining this game by making it so sweaty. On the other hand, the maps are okay, and one good thing is the flag curse, which makes it easier to stop the stalemates. But this game is just so sweaty and boring, so it can go in D tier. Now let's rank one of the more chill game modes on the Hive, Block Drop. Block Drop is one of Hive's best games. It has great maps and the power-ups are good, and the knockback Nemo adds some competition to the game. It's not too sweaty and the players are chill, and when I maxed it a few years ago, I actually enjoyed the journey. It's really polished, but the only bad thing is, it isn't a game I get on the Hive to play. I only play it to wind down after a game of Bedwars or another sweaty game. And other than the fact that the first half of the game is pretty boring, it is a great game with a good player base and overall being really polished. So Block Drop can go into A tier. Now we can rank Block Party. Block Party is like Block Drop, but more competitive and sweaty. How it works is you have a couple of seconds to find a color on the floor and get to it before time runs out. To win, you also have to get power-ups, but the problem with them is that the usefulness between some power-ups like Jump Boost and the Color Teleporter is too big. Another bad thing about Block Party is that it has barely been updated since it came out. On the other hand, a good part of this game is that it is quite fun, especially when you just make it to the color in time. So overall, it's another great game, but it just needs to be tweaked a little bit so it can go into B tier. Now, let's move on to a game that can go into A tier, Deathrun. Deathrun is a parkour game mode where you have to get to the end of the map first, while at the same time the deaths try and trap you with the traps. Deathrun has some nice maps and good creative traps, and overall the game is really good. There isn't anything wrong with Deathrun really, other than it can get boring after a while, and being a death is also boring. So Deathrun can go into A tier. There isn't anything wrong with Deathrun, and the game as a whole is well made with a good player base and good maps. Moving to a game I enjoy a bit less is Gravity. Gravity is a dropper game mode where you have to go through different levels and finish them all first without hitting any blocks and dying. Again, it's a well-made game, but it can get very annoying really quick when you keep dying on one level and you end up just quitting because it takes so long. It can also get boring once you know all the maps, but it is good when you are racing your friends, and the new maps are also good. Something I would change about Gravity is making it so experienced players can choose to do more levels for more experience points. Overall, it is quite repetitive and annoying, but I like the concept, so I will rank it in C tier. Now, before we move on to Murder Mystery, I would like if you like and subscribe because it helps me out and grows the channel. Next, let's rate Murder Mystery. I think Murder Mystery is one of Hive's better games, and that is reflected in the number of players it gets. I love being Murderer because of how well made the game and maps are made, especially when you are playing with friends. My main problem with Murder Mystery is it takes forever to level up, and when I see anyone over Prestige 2, I just feel bad for them. And my second problem is that some maps like Castle Town and Pigment are too gimmicky and make it too hard for the murder, especially on Castle Town. But something good about Murder Mystery is that it's not too sweaty or ragey, and being sheriff is also good, but not as good as Murderer. Overall, it's a great game, and it can go to A tier. Hide and Seek is up next, and I think it's worthy of C tier. It has good maps with good hiding spots like in Chinatown where you can hide as a wall. Playing by yourself is rather boring, especially as a hider, because all you do is sit and taunt every 40 seconds and not much else. The only time this game is fun is when you are playing with friends, because every other time it is just boring. Also, it's never worth being Seeker because you get so much less XP than hiders. And I also hate when you find someone, but then they turn into the Flash and run the whole game. What I would do to fix Hide and Seek would be to give the Seekers speed too, and give them more experience per kill. Overall, Hide and Seek is boring and repetitive, but it can be fun with friends, so Hide and Seek can go to the depths of C tier. Now let's rank the game you have all been waiting for. Bedwars. Bedwars replaced Treasure Wars to reduce confusion for new players who didn't know what Treasure Wars might be. Bedwars is fairly similar to Treasure Wars, but the major difference was the shop and some revamped maps. Anyway, Bedwars is currently in Season 3 and averages over 6,000 players at a time. By far Hive's most popular game with 5 game types: solos, duos, squads, manor, and mega. Unfortunately, when Hive replaced Treasure Wars, everyone's stats got reset, and now you cannot see your current win streak, which kind of sucks. And also, this might sound insignificant, but at the start of the game, you only get 16 wool instead of 32. But this means you cannot immediately rush the other player, which, after a couple weeks of Bedwars release, I actually decided was better. Another good thing about Bedwars is that it is not too sweaty, but not too easy either. And paired with the fact that Bedwars has a massive selection of great maps and game modes, and being the best game to play with friends, it shouldn't surprise you that I'm going to rank Bedwars in S tier. I mean, it's probably Hive's best PvP game mode, and I love grinding squads by myself and rolling whole teams, and then playing duos with friends. And while we are at it, let's rank the other S tier, Skywars. While Skywars is less popular than Bedwars, that doesn't mean it's any worse. I actually couldn't decide what one is better, so they can be a tie for Hive's best mini-game. Skywars is better if you are a more experienced player. That's why I play Bedwars, because it's more competitive and you only get one life, which makes you rely on your skills more than strategy. The only bad thing, and it's not even that bad, is the luck involved in the ores you mine, because sometimes a emerald ore drops a knockback Nemo, while other times it just drops some iron boots. Other than that, Skywars is another amazing game that is great when you are playing with friends, and also it's really funny when you make a trap, and it actually works. It is also quite unique to other versions of Skywars because you can get most of your loot from ores and even extra hearts from redstone, and the game as a whole is really good, except for the stinky cheaters who ruin all the games. So yes, Skywars can go into S tier because of how unique it is and how well made the game and maps are. And finally, let's rank Parkour Worlds. Some wouldn't consider this a mini-game and more of a micro-hub, but for the sake of this video, I will rank it. It is actually good and works well, but the moment you max it, there is no reason of playing it again. If Hive did update Parkour Worlds, it might rank higher, but really it's a C tier. There isn't anything great about it, and Hive hasn't updated it, so yay, C tier it goes. So, yes, that's my take on the best and worst game modes on the Hive. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching until the end. Please like and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, and comment down below if you want to see more videos about the Hive, and thank you all so much, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.